because I've met with many Chinese authorities and say, who are you to lecture us on human rights? I said, well, we did it with South Africa and apartheid. And was that good? Was that right? Of course it was. Racism is a terrible, terrible evil. It's an abomination. It had to be eradicated. Well, ditto for the use of torture, which is pervasive, the forced abortion policy, which has decimated the family in China. I mean, the missing girls, because of the one-child per couple policy, is a legacy that's not going to be turned around in generations. They're gone. A whole couple of generations of females no longer exist because they were killed because they happened to be the girl child in utero. And I remember one of my hearings, and I've had many, on the one-child per couple policy. One of our witnesses said, if you took all the women and girl children living in the United States of America and took two countries alone, China and India, where unfortunately gendercide is used as well, sex selection, abortion, they're equivalent in terms of the numbers. Every woman you'll ever see in the United States of America or hear about that live here, all of them have been eviscerated by a forced abortion policy in China, and now they're reaping the very bitter results of it. Men can't find wives. One, they're missing, and they deserve to live, but men can't find wives, so families aren't being formed, and you have a situation where, and it was all predictable. I predicted it in my hearings. I predicted in legislation that I got passed by the House of Representatives. I pointed out that at the Nuremberg War Crimes Tribunal, forced abortion, which was rampant for 4 decades in China, and still has some of that still, they realized the one child was so wrong, even for their economy and for their military. But at Nuremberg, forced abortion was construed to be a crime against humanity because the Nazis were using it against the Polish women. And it's happening today in numbers, or has happened for the last 40 years, since 1979. And the missing girl child, the missing females, I've never seen anything more horrific in my life. Oh, you're a girl? You're expendable. We're going to kill you because you're a girl. And Xi Jinping owns that, as do so many others. They're also doing forced organ harvesting. Forced. If I or you or one of us want to give our eyes or some other body part when you die or you have an accident, and you give that over to a worthy recipient who needs it, fine. Voluntary. It is absolutely involuntary in China, and they've targeted it as part of their genocide against the Uyghurs, the Falun Gong, the Tibetan Buddhists, but the Uyghurs now even more than any other group, and they're selling their organs, 2 to 6 per victim, tens of thousands every single year. I mean, it's unbelievable. I've had 5 hearings on that. I have a bill that's called the Stop Forced Organ Harvesting Act. And that legislation, I wrote the trafficking laws for the United States of America. It's called the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. You can get up to 20 years to life for trafficking men, women, but mostly women and children. And we've had 5,000 major convictions in this country alone pursuant to that law. Jeffrey Epstein was being targeted under that law. I say that because I take that law and apply the forced organ harvesting, which is a trafficking manifestation, evil one, another one, and say you can get up to 20 years if you are part of the supply chain in taking these organs from unwilling victims. You know what they do? They strap them down, they drug them, sometimes not enough drugs, and they wake up. I had one doctor who actually did these forced organ harvesting in China testify at one of my hearings. And he said all of a sudden the victim was moaning with pain because he wasn't fully anesthetized. And he said, oh my God, this guy's awake. And he's taking out his organs. I mean, 2 to 6 per victim, equally divided between male and female, average age 28. And they take the healthiest of all people and they sell them, or they give them to the Chinese party recipients like a liver. If Xi Jinping tomorrow needed a liver, his so-called doctors would turn to some young kid, take their organs and put them into his body.